Everybody, it's Ryan here. Thank you so much for checking out the channel on today. I want to encourage you guys on today to stop wasting time. It's sad that we all are going to eventually come to a day where we don't wake up, where we don't get to see our loved ones, where we don't get to do what it is that we're called to do on this earth anymore. This past weekend, my wife and I, we went to her grandmother's homegoing service, and it's one of those surreal events when you see a person that you care about, a person that you've interacted with, when they're laying there in the casket and they can no longer take a breath, they can no longer see you physically. Understanding that that person still had things that they wanted to accomplish, understanding that that person still believed that they had more time, and it puts things in perspective that this life is short. It's only a small little vapor of time that we have, and a lot of times we're so distracted by the opinions of other people. We're so distracted with fear. We're so distracted with the latest social media drama that we don't spend the time that we need to pursuing the things that God has called us to pursue. And so I want to encourage you guys on today. I know this is a sobering message to stop wasting time, but I want to just point out the realization that, tomorrow is not promised for me. Tomorrow is not promised for you. That there are real things that, we were sent to this earth to accomplish and to do. And I refuse to make it to see God face to face and have to answer questions about why I didn't complete what He called me to complete. I refuse to see God in His glory and His splendor for the first time, and there be things that I was assigned to do, and there was people that I was assigned to speak into their lives, and to know that I have to have an account for why I didn't do it. What excuse could I give Him? And so for me, moving forward, it's about not wasting time. It's about literally pressing into everything, possessing everything that God wants me to possess in this physical reality that we have, while we have it, the opportunity to do it. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys on today. A lot of times we come up with rationalizations of why we're not moving forward in the things that we know that we need to move forward in. Maybe it's our health, maybe it's our business, maybe it's, again, starting that YouTube channel, maybe it's just going to the person that we have an offense with and getting things right with them. But we all rationalize why we can't do a thing or why now is not the right time. And I think I read a post that kind of sums this up this morning, that talks about that it's arrogant to believe that we have more time. That we must understand that we are here, that God is allowing us through His sovereignty to be alive, that through His sovereignty we're even breathing right now. And so it's completely arrogant to expect or to be entitled to the fact that tomorrow is going to come for us, or that I can put things off even one more day, when there are people who we know, they still had things on their to-do list when they passed. There are things that they still wanted to accomplish. There's still dreams that were left inside of them. And so for me, I want to leave this world empty. I want to leave, when God takes me home, I want to know that there was no work left for me to do, that I literally gave to humanity and to civilization everything that I could, that there was no more work that I could have possibly done, that I used every gift, every talent, every relationship, every moment, every gift that God has given me to the fullest extent, and I did it with excellence. And so really, this weekend I had a lot of things to think about. Some more things that I processed from the homegoing service is just making sure that every detail that could be accounted for is accounted for. And so again, I just want to encourage you guys on today. I know this is a sobering word, but there's so much ahead of us. There's so much that God wants us to really step into. And when we understand that he sent his son to die for us so that we could have an abundant life, and to know that there are many of us that live beneath the privilege of what his son died for us to have. When we look at it in the grand scheme of things, it can actually be an insult. And so I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to utilize everything that I have in front of me to get everything that God has for me, and not just for me to possess it, but so that my family could be blessed for it, and my children's children could be blessed by it, and their children's children. If the Lord has not come back to rapture us by that point, that whoever in my family DNA, that they would be living in the breakthrough that God is allowed to have in my life, because I didn't waste time. I didn't make excuses. It's so easy for us to rationalize a lot of times that we're waiting on God. And I truly believe in this hour, especially for these next 6 years, prophetically, what God has been showing us is that there's a harvest for us to reap. There are so many souls to be won, and I don't want any person to slip through the cracks, knowing that I could have ministered to them, knowing that I could have said something positive to impact their day, knowing that I could have touched this person or blessed this person, and for whatever reason, my own fear, my own limitations, my own shortcomings made me stop, made me not fully embrace everything that God wants for me to embrace in this lifetime. And so I want to encourage you guys on today. This is a season, especially these last few days of this month of March. I was listening to a very insightful video here on YouTube the other day, where they talked about the prophetic significance of the first 3 months of the year, that the 9 remaining months usually is what we can expect to harvest based off of what we planted. And if I were to look at the things that I planted in these first 3 months, of course, I believe that there were a lot of positive things, but I know that there was so much more that I could have done. A lot of it was dealing with distractions. And so I want to just encourage you guys that we still have time left in this month, that I'm going to sow every seed that I can sow. I'm going to plant everything that I can plant. I'm going to leave the month of March empty as I can. I'm going to work to my full capacity and to my fullest extent to make sure that I'm setting myself up for receiving what God has for me in these rest of these 9 months. 2024 is going to be an awesome year. I just heard the end of Apostle Joshua Giles' prophetic word, where he talked about access and the gates are open. And so I want to encourage you guys that this is going to be, these next months, through the rest of this year, is going to be a time where we access the things that God has for us, but it comes from us not delaying on the things that God is telling us to delay. We must understand, and I believe that this rest of this year, that we're going to truly understand the fear of the Lord, that we understand that when God tells us to do something, it's not a suggestion, that he is our God and he is in charge of our lives. And as we allow him to be God, he gives us the privilege and opportunity to be sons and to reap the inheritance of being a true son. And so I encourage you guys on today, do me a favor, like this video, share this video with somebody else who you know may be facing distractions right now. Again, we all going to get to the end of our life, and some of us are going to regret the things, not necessarily the things that we did, but regret the things that we didn't get to do. And so I want to encourage you guys today, stop wasting time. God has such a beautiful plan for us. Don't let fear, don't let what people think about you stop you from doing what God has called to you, especially since this life is just a small vapor. And so God bless you guys on today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.